Welcome to another episode of Bartending with Ralph. I'm Ralph, your mediocre bartender host. And today we're going to be, hopefully I can keep it along the same line, because it's one of these subjects that tends to just kind of just spread out in all directions, and there's a lot of it that you can take from it. But anyway, one of the things about people tend to say prohibition was a failure, and it wasn't. If you look, it's like the war on drugs. If you look at it from, well, there's still drugs and all the violence and the money and stuff, and you judge it from that one-way street. So yes, you could say yes, prohibition and the war on drugs is an abject failure. However, if you look at it from a big picture, you can see that not only was prohibition a success then, it still is today. And just like the war on drugs, if you look at it from a big picture, yes, it was a rousing success. But that's not the topic for the day, is it? So anyway, one of the things about prohibition was it gutted a lot of the knowledge of what cocktails were, and I fell into this trap too, terribly so. Not all drinks are cocktails. Cocktail is just a it's a part of mixed drinks, and it is just a sling that has been bittered. But you can't call everything cocktails, and this is part of what prohibition did, was it gutted a lot of knowledge. Like, for instance, say back up for a second. You've got more than just cocktail slings, all right? If you add bitters to a sling, it becomes a cocktail. If you add juice, like lemon juice or whatever, it becomes a sour. And then, which is a type of a punch. Matter of fact, most of the so-called craft cocktails that you'll get now are simply a punch. One of the things between a sling and a punch, a sling or a cocktail, the liquor predominates. So if you're drinking a Manhattan, that's a cocktail. You still know you're drinking whiskey. Whereas you're, say, drinking like a margarita or a pina colada or something like that, those are technically punches, and they're a style of a short punch, like a margarita, that's called a daisy. As a matter of fact, let's look at people say, well, the margarita was invented in some dusty bar in honor of some singer or dancer or something. But margarita is Spanish for daisy. Daisy is a type of drink. It is a sour made fancy by the addition of a liqueur. In case of the margarita, it's triple sec. So is it more likely that it even though it's a lot more romantic to think of it, that it was invented by in some bar in tribute to somebody, it's more likely it was just a regular old tequila daisy, and they called it by its Spanish name, a margarita. Doesn't make it less good, just kind of takes away the romance of it, I guess. But anyway, let me get to the drink for the day. I came across this and it kind of illustrates what I was getting at. This drink in the cocktail database called a cherry blossom. A cherry blossom is a type of punch. So you wouldn't actually call it, and a punch doesn't mean it has to be in a punch bowl. A punch just means it is a mixed drink that has elements of a sweet, a sour, a strong, and a weak, and it's balanced. That's why when you get a cocktail and they call it a craft cocktail, it's more than likely it is a punch, not a cocktail. So this cherry blossom thing I found has a lot of interesting elements to it. So we're going to make that. This is a punch. This is a subset of a punch. It would probably be best classified as a lion. A lion is a punch that's been made fancy, or sour that's been made fancy by the addition of a liqueur and a syrup, in which case it's going to be made fancy with grenadine, and there's actually 2 liqueurs in there. So, but if you follow the strict definition, it's a punch, and it's being made made fancy with the addition of a syrup and a liqueur. So anyway, this is called a cherry blossom. And it's made with cherry flavored brandy. Now, this is another thing. What is cherry flavored brandy? What is apricot flavored brandy? It's just a brandy that has been modified with a syrup. This is cherry flavored brandy, and it's been made by mixing a cherry syrup, which I made myself. Well, actually, we made it in class. Mixing the cherry syrup in with brandy, and this is cherry flavored brandy, and it's pretty good. So anyway, we'll get on with things here. Okay, so the first ingredient in this is an ounce of cherry flavored brandy. Now, you can also get like Kirschwasser, which is actually cherry. It's a type of cherry brandy, but it's not cherry flavored brandy. Now, you can also, hold on a second. People will say, hey, this is cherry flavored brandy. And it's not. Not that this isn't good stuff. Cherry hearing is the bomb. It is great, great, great stuff. But it's not cherry flavored brandy. It is a cherry liqueur. And it won't, and you can use it, but it's not going to give you the same taste as, say, the cherry flavored brandy. But cherry hearing is pretty good. So anyway, we're going to start with an ounce of, and remember, this is the cherry blossom, it's called. So we're going to start with an ounce of cherry flavored brandy. Ounce of cherry flavored brandy. And then we're going to add 3/4 of an ounce of regular brandy. Now here's where it becomes more, this is when it becomes like a fancy type of punch or a sour. We're going to add 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. Three-quarter of an ounce of lemon juice. Now we're going to further modify it, and this is why it becomes more, it's a punch still, but it's a lion because it's being modified with a liqueur and a syrup. We're going to add 1/4 ounce of triple sec. You can also use like a curacao, like a Grand Marnier type thing, but I'm going to be using Cointreau. So I'm going to add 1/4 ounce of that, and 1/4 ounce of real grenadine, not the roses stuff. There's a lot of like really good fresh ingredients coming out. You can make your own grenadine. It's pretty simple. It's just pomegranate juice. Get fresh pomegranate juice, or like palm. You just get the regular old palm and add equal amount of sugar to it. Boom. And you know, you can add, I think you're supposed to add like a little dash of orange blossom water or something like that. But basically, all grenadine is pomegranate syrup. So, and we'll add 1/4 ounce of that. Now, a punch has, we've got the strong, the brandy. We've got the sweet, which is the grenadine, and to an extent the triple sec. We just need to, and the sour, of course, the lemon juice. So now we need to add, to make this a punch, what do we need to add? We need to add the weak element, which is water. A lot of traditional punch recipes, even just the ones you make by the glass full, those are, they actually call for adding water in the recipe. But for a short punch, is technically what we're making, the weak element, the water in this case, comes from the melted ice. So we're going to put some, go get the glass too. Here's my nice chilled sour goblet, or daisy goblet. That's the other thing about the old drink. They were actually made, the glassware made a difference. If I created just a sour, I just used lemon juice, and I put it in this with a couple of ice cubes, it's called a fix. If I put it in a glass like this, it becomes a sour. Glassware was as much of the art of cocktails back in the day as anything. So, there you go. So we're going to give it a shake. Then we're going to and I'm going to, here we go. Guess I should have angled my camera down a little bit more, shouldn't I have? Oh well, too late now. Anyway, so here we go. This is the orange blossom. I'm going to put a little lemon peel garnish in there. I'm thinking maybe a cherry would be better. I'm not sure. But anyway, this, I'm telling you, is a wonderful, 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 wonderful drink. It really is. So again, an ounce of cherry flavored brandy. Could you use the cherry hearing? You could, but you have to modify some ingredients because otherwise it's going to come out really sticky sweet and not very good. If you're going to use cherry hearing, I would probably make it a half ounce cherry hearing and an ounce and a half of regular brandy. Of course, it wouldn't be the same drink, but it would still probably be a good drink. So it's an ounce of cherry flavored brandy, 3/4 ounce of regular brandy, 3/4 ounce of lemon juice, 1/4 ounce of curacao. You could use something like a Grand Marnier if you wanted. I just use like a triple sec, in this case Cointreau. 1/4 ounce of real grenadine. Shake, pour into a, this is called a daisy goblet. I learned a lot in that class. But anyway, wonderful drink. I highly recommend you give it a try. Thanks. And we'll see. I think the next one's going to be a rum thing. We'll see. Thanks for watching. You folks have a great and safe day.